decided to follow Jesus today, our prayer is that you have. Our prayer is that everyone here has made that decision to follow Jesus. There's so many things in the daily routine. The routine becomes precedent over everything else. And that's something that, as Christians, as followers of Christ, that's something that's a constant work on our life, is to make that adjustment. As I was studying this week, I was thinking, you know, when you go to a horse sale and you go to buy a horse at a horse sale, one of the first questions you always ask is, what vices does he have? In other words, there's always something that horse has learned somewhere in his life that he just doesn't get over. And he might be the best horse, and he might do the best thing you want to do, but somewhere there's a vice. And that's why they ask that question, well, what vices does he have? You know, some horses, they ring their tail so much that they're always hitting the back of the head, and you got to keep that tail trimmed. Some horses you can't ride with a bit because, especially a roller bit, some horses you have to give a roller bit so they got something to do to keep their mind busy. Yeah. There's just these little vices that they develop as they're growing up. So something they learned when they were little, and they've grown up doing it, and it's something that you just can't seem to break them. And as I was thinking, this last week I was thinking, you know, as people, we're the same way.
Yeah.
We grow up and we learn things, and we go through our growing process, and we learn little things, and we get these little habits, and sometimes, regardless of how much we're conscious about it, sometimes we just find ourselves doing it anyway. And we just can't seem to break ourselves from that little habit. And sometimes we even justify and work that little habit into something to being where we feel like we're doing it because we're supposed to be doing it. But we find ourselves getting ourselves in trouble. You know, somebody told me one time that when we was kids, we didn't know we was poor because nobody told us.
That's right, that's right.
Everybody lived the way we did. We got by what we had, and it so did everybody else, and everybody was happy. And we just lived our life, and we grew up, and we learned things through all of that. And some of those things that we learn just kind of stick to us, and then we continue to live with them. But you know, I don't remember ever having a house key when we was kids. I don't even know if our house locked. You could always go to our house and open the door, just open it, just went in. Even if nobody's home, you didn't have to lock it. I don't remember ever locking a car.
Right.
You could probably leave the keys in the ignition. When we was kids, and you didn't worry about those kind of things. I was thinking today, we have secret access and security codes to everything, even our telephone. Secret code. You can't get in my phone because it's locked. Everything is locked. Churches lock the doors. When service starts, they lock the doors. And I'm thinking, wow, how did we get to this place? How did we get to a place to where we're living in a world that's so wicked? The wickedness is just, the wickedness is surrounding and encompassing and working its way in. And it makes an effort to filter in, and it filters in, and it filters into our relationship with the Lord from the vices that we have and the wickedness around us. We begin to try to fight this battle on our own. We try to find a way to war ourselves against, or protect ourselves against the things that are surrounding us. And sometimes it drifts into our relationship. We're going to read about this right now in Luke chapter 18. And it's a little bit lengthy, but I want to read it all because, you know, I love studying the parables of Jesus and what he taught, because there's always so much in those parables, and sometimes you can study them over and over, and each time you might get a little something different. Now this one is 14 verses because it seems as though it's two parables, but it's actually just one. It's actually just one parable. As we read it, we'll see this. So Luke chapter 18, I'm going to read 1 through 14. And he spake a parable unto them, and to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint. Now, Jesus is talking about, you guys got to be praying, and you got to not give up. You got to not stop. You can't let that part of your relationship drift, because all of a sudden that little vice thing that you've got over there from whenever is going to begin to fill that prayer place, and all of a sudden things are going to start to happen in your life. But he says men ought to always pray and not faint. And he's saying, there was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded men. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of my adversary. And he would not for a while. But afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by any continual coming, she weary me. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge said. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge him speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? See, now, Jesus is halfway through this parable. It sounds like he finished that parable. He's setting the stage for the parable he's about, for the climax of this parable that he's teaching. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. And now Jesus starts the second part of this parable. And he says, two men went up into the temple to pray. The one a Pharisee and the other a publican. And the Pharisee stood and prayed thus within himself. Now he's just standing there and he's just praying to God. He's got his hands raised. Get this picture in your mind. This Pharisee standing there and he's praying. God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in a week, and I give tithes to all that I possess. Now this guy, you got to think he's praying himself. He just got his hands up and he's just standing there. It says he stood there. And he's praying to God. God, I thank you. He's thanking God that he's not like these wicked people around him. Now I think about today when we watch the presidential debates and we watch all the things going on. What do? Oh, I'm not like him. I'm not like her. And that's in every race, in every from the sheriff to all the way down the line. It can't be that way in the school district because there's only 6 of us and there's 5 spots. So we're all the same. But do you see where we are? Even the ones that would call themselves a Christian to say, well, but I'm not like them. We find ourselves in the same boat. We find ourselves as Christians in the same boat as this Pharisee was in. Yeah, but Lord, I tithe to you, and I'm in church every Sunday, and I go to prayer meeting every time, and I do everything you're supposed to tell. And Lord, I'm glad I'm not like them wicked people out there. But let's see how he finishes this up. Verse 13, and the publican, standing afar off, will not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven. The publican is standing over there, and he's got his head down. But he smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful unto me, for I have sinned. In Romans chapter 3, Paul tells the Romans, there's none, as it is written, there is none righteous, not one. This publican is saying, Lord, I'm not concerned about this man over here. I'm not concerned about this Pharisee. And I'm not concerned about this lady over here. And I'm not concerned about that one over there. But Lord, have mercy on me because I'm a sinner. Now Jesus finishes the parable. I tell you that this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. This is a vice that we don't learn very well, that we don't grow up learning, is this humility part of our relationship with God. We need to be mindful as this publican was, that, you know what, Lord, it's not about them. You can't be a beacon if your light don't shine.
Amen. Yes.
And we got to be working on our beacon. We got to be working on letting that light shine. That, Lord, I know I'm a sinner, and it doesn't matter the caliber of sin that we've learned to qualify and cast people out of or accept people into because of. It's the idea that I'm a sinner.
Yeah.
And I need to be working on me, Lord.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of vices that I have. There's a whole lot of things I learned in my growing up that still ain't right, Lord. And if I keep with you and I keep praying and I keep remembering that I'm a sinner, I know you'll fix it all. Because you tell me you will avenge me.
Yes.
When did he tell me he would avenge me? And shall not God avenge his own elect, and that which cry day after day, though they bear long with him? We just have to keep praying.
Yeah.
Lord, don't let me be like, I don't want to be like those others, but Lord, don't let me be that. Don't let me gauge myself by what somebody else is doing.
Amen.
And don't let me gauge others by what I'm doing. Let me just gauge myself by what you're telling me.
Amen.
Yes.
Let me get on a place, Lord, where my relationship with you is the most important thing in my life, and I'm praying and I don't faint in my prayer.
Yeah.
And I'm seeking you out in the things that I do, and I'm seeking you out in the relationships and the people that I know, that I don't be like this Pharisee, and thank you that I'm not like them. Lord, if possible, make me like them.
Amen.
So that we can be of all like mind. If possible, we can all grow together in a relationship with you and be of one accord the way you teach us to be. See, so many times we let those little vices or little things that you know, there was a video on the Justice Channel we was watching for a minute last night, and this lady comes into this shop, and she's got her little boy with her. And the lady behind the counter is working there. And the lady behind, and then this is a Christian bookstore. The lady comes into a Christian bookstore, got a little kid with her, and there's a lady behind the counter. And the lady said, well, would you just hang on just a second? I got to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So the lady runs to the bathroom. While she's in the bathroom, this other lady with the little boy goes behind the counter and steals her wallet out of her purse. And while she's stealing her wallet, the little baby is going to pick something up. And the mother goes, don't touch that, it's not yours. I'm like,
Oh, man.
I mean, that's falling off the turnip truck and he landing head first right there. I mean, that's going. But do you see where we are? This wickedness has surrounded us. And if we're not careful, it'll infiltrate. If we're not careful, we'll wind up like this Pharisee and saying, Lord, but I do what you tell me to do, and I'm not part of that wicked group. You know what? You're a sinner. And that's all that matters. It's not important about how, we're the only ones that have ever qualified sin as far as one being bigger than the other. But as a man explained it one time before, if the speed limit is 55 and you're driving 56, you're breaking the speed limit. If the speed limit is 55 and you're driving 105, you're breaking the speed limit, and that's the way God says sin. If you sin, is sin. It doesn't matter what it is. And through the vices and the things that we've grown up doing, sometimes those little vices keep us in a place of, and I'm just going to preach to the preacher for a minute here, but you know, for me, it's driving.
Yeah.
Garrett's shaking his head because I know it is for him too.
Amen, brother.
But you know, that's one of those things that I just grew up in it. I've driven a truck, I've driven all over the country, I've driven in all kinds of traffic, and sometimes I can put that down and just let it be what it is, and sometimes it's real hard.
Help him, Lord.
Thank you, brother. But you see, those little vices, the little things that we learned and we grew up doing, they're hard to get over. Sometimes it's hard to shut that anger off. There's things that through our life has caused us to where we react to it in anger right away, and we know that when we react in anger, we have separated ourselves from Father. Just that quick. So let us be like this publican that, you know what, Lord? Forgive me because I'm a sinner. Let me keep my humility. Teach me that humility, Lord. Teach me to be humble. Teach me to be the one that realizes that how tough it is to just keep myself straight and not worry about other people. Exalt those. Point out somebody's good points, not their bad points. When I get an opportunity to tell somebody, you know, and the Lord has been showing me this for quite a while, there's always two ways to respond to every situation. When something goes to happen, we can respond in a positive, uplifting way, or we can respond in a negative way. Where was we at the other day somewhere, and it took a long time. And then the lady said, well, I'm sorry you had to wait so long. No, it's okay. It's quite all right. Because you know what? I'm beginning to understand that God is in control of everything. And so if I have to wait a little while, that means He's keeping me from something else. So I want to accept what He does in my life. I want to accept it and not complain. In the Jesus Calling book this morning was about don't complain. When we complain, it grieves His heart. When we say, wow, this just ain't right, we're just saying, well, I don't trust God can do it.
It's true.
That's too close to home, ain't it? It's way too close to home. But see, these are those little vices. These are those little things we've learned, and they just got to become part of it. They just become part of our, we call it part of our, what do we call it? We call it part of something. It's part of my nature, but it's not, because we're Christ-like by nature. We're created a new creation in Christ. That's not part of our, that's part of our old nature, which the Bible tells us to put that away. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4, 21 through 24. if so be that you have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, then you put off concerning the former conversations the old man which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you may put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness.
Yeah.
That should be the goal of every Christian. You know what? Let me put off that old man. All the vices that I recognize when I catch myself doing it, let me teach myself a new way to not do that anymore. Let me find something new, because God has something new for me. He has a peace that's beyond understanding.
Yeah.
He has a comfort that cannot be explained. I need to learn to walk in that peace. I need to learn to walk in that comfort. And I need to not complain, but realize. When I begin to complain, I need to realize that He's in control.
Amen.
Realize that if I'll just remember that He's always in control and He's got me right where He wants me, as long as I'm listening to Him, and I'm not complaining and I'm not looking at that guy over there. I mean, you get in line at Walmart. When you go to pick a line to get in at Walmart. Yeah, everybody knows, huh? No, I'm not getting that line. She got too much stuff. No, that guy's too slow. Oh, she's got coupons. I ain't getting in that one. Just walk into whatever line God leads you to, because there's something there for you to do.
Yeah.
There's someone there for you to talk to. So many times, Des and I have experienced that. Just get in line. Don't matter. Just get in line and see what happens.
Yeah.
So many times when we do that, God puts somebody there with a little kid or somebody that you get that breaks size and gives you an opportunity. That's how we met Joanne. Just by picking a line and get in it. And then be a witness as you go through the line. Well, what church do you go to church? Oh, I just moved here from Minnesota. What church do you go? Well, I haven't found a church yet. Well, why don't you come to church with us?
Yes, amen.
So many opportunities that God puts in our place. If we'll just say, you know what, I'm going to put away the old man. I'm not going to worry about those things. And I'm not going to worry about how long this is going to take, because it's all His time anyway.
Yeah. True.
It's all His time. It's all His money. It's all His place. All I got to do is learn to walk in it and be happy about it.
Yes,
all the time. Be content wherever you are. As long as you have clothes on your back and food to eat, just be content.
Yes.
Don't complain. Don't be like this. You know, I read that, and I've read it many times, but I read through Luke this last week, and I thought, wow, how many times do we let those little vices draw us into that wickedness, just like that Pharisee did? That Pharisee didn't think he was doing anything wrong. That Pharisee thought he was just praying to God, God, I'm so thankful that you make me that I'm not like them. When in essence, he's exactly like them. Comparable, side by side. You're both a sinner, and that's how God sees us. Not higher, shorter, taller, wider, don't matter. God sees us as a sinner, and through the blood of Jesus Christ, if you ever want to go through be on the right side, we got to go through that blood, and we got to walk through that blood every day.
Yes.
We got to get up in the morning and say, I need the blood of Jesus on me today, because I'm going to sin. I know it's coming, and I want to be aware of it, and I want to watch it, and I want to just ask the Lord to forgive me for it, and recognize, put my head down. Lord, I'm a sinner. Don't let me lose my humility. Don't ever let me think I've gotten better than somebody else. My mom always, that was one thing that my mama did always teach me, you ain't no better than anybody else. And that was exactly how she said it too. You ain't no better than anybody else. And don't ever think that you are. And that's what he tells us right there.
Yeah.
You ain't no better than anybody else. Just you know what's important is my relationship with him.
Yeah.
I want to work on it. I want to strengthen it. I want to walk in that joy, and I want to walk in that peace, because it's sitting right there waiting on me to walk in. It's like carrying an umbrella in the rain. You got an umbrella from all the things that the world offers, but what we do, we fold it up, put it in my pocket, no, I'm going to walk in the rain. What is it, a goose that is drowned in the rain, or a chicken, one of them?
Turkey.
A turkey. I told you, one is close. Stand in the rain and drown. We have protection. We have someone to get us past those devices. I had a little paint pony that loved to rope. And Bo was a good roper, and he was a good healer, and he'd put you right where you wanted to be. And if he put you there and you didn't throw the rope, then he would run up and bump into the steer. Like, what do you want me to do next? I left everything you wanted me to do, and you ain't throwing the rope, so